What is up, Team Hardcore? Welcome to episode 5 of season 1. In the previous episode, we've made hardcore mashed potatoes, but today we're going to do something different. If you, like me, have friends over for dinner and movies from time to time, this is an awesome dish to serve. It's tasty, it's fresh, full of flavors and textures. It's hardcore nachos. And like last time, we're going to do this step by step together. So let me grab my stuff and we'll get started. Are you ready? Okay, we're going to do this in 7 steps, starting with the easiest components first and work ourselves up to the most difficult ones. But don't worry, none of these components are really difficult. Now, the first thing we're going to start with are these. These are our sour cream drizzle and our chipotle sauce. So, how do we make them? For the sour cream drizzle, combine 125 grams of sour cream, 35 milliliters of milk. In this case, it doesn't really matter what type of milk you're using. Sour cream is pretty thick, so we want to make it creamy with a liquid. In this case, we're using milk. Now, I've done some experimenting, and this is a great ratio. Just mash the sour cream while adding the milk bit by bit, and you're already done with your first sauce. We're going to bottle this up later. Now, for our chipotle sauce, this one is a bit spicy because of the peppers in it, and you need a food processor too. So start off with a can of chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. Lay down a cover of olive oil in your measuring cup so the other ingredients can slide out. Add a cup of your favorite mayonnaise, a teaspoon of ground coriander, freshly squeezed lime juice. Now you might think, is that all? Blend it and bottle it up? No, that's not all! These peppers contain seeds. So we want to strain them out first using a sieve. Not that it is because I don't like heat or anything spicy. If you like your sauce spicy, by all means, leave them. But here's the thing. Your sauce might look great, but the seeds are still intact. And when you put them in a bottle with your sauce, you're going to clog your bottle, especially this part, the exit of the bottle. And you can squeeze all you want, but it will make you very, very angry. There's nothing I hate more than that! That is the reason why we remove the seeds. Grab a bowl, a sieve, and a ladle. Or a regular spoon, doesn't really matter, but a ladle works better. And just move the ladle in circular motions in your sieve. No need to apply pressure because the food processor did most of the work. You see this stuff? This will clog your bottle. You can, however, still serve this with a spoon. That is all up to you. But the last thing is to bottle it up, and then we're done. Starting with the sour cream drizzle and the chipotle, I did make a bit of a mess here, but not to worry, Vinny always cleans after himself. And those are 2 sauces. You can make them the day or 2 days before your guests arrive. It'll save you some time. Moving on to, in my opinion, the most important component of the nachos, the guacamole. If you make a proper guacamole, people will always say the same thing. Oh, this tastes so fresh. And the funny thing is that this, like many things, is just psychological. Because what does fresh taste like? Don't worry, I'm going to tell you what the secret ingredient is to make it taste fresh. But first, something very important. I want to talk to you about 2 kitchen utensils for making guacamole. If you go on the internet, and you do, most chefs will tell you to use a knife to cut an avocado. My go-to knife is this beauty here, a Japanese santoku. But what these chefs fail to mention is that using a knife for avocados is extremely dangerous. Statistically speaking, most accidents in the kitchen involve cutting an avocado or an onion. So put your knife away and grab this little baby. This is called an avocado slicer, I think. Not sure. Avocado knife, avocado tool, who cares? Anyway, this baby has 2 advantages. First of all, it has these ridges that will cut through the avocado shell with much more ease than a knife. That makes it, in this case, more effective, but also, and that brings us to advantage number 2, much safer. The most people have to apply pressure to cut an avocado, and if you do that with a knife and you slip, let's just say you need a lot of bandages, okay? That is not going to be a problem with this baby. So, grab your avocado slicer, remove the button from the avocado and slice your avocado open by cutting into your avocado until you hit the pit and slice all the way around. See how easy and safe that was? Another thing, I see chefs telling people to get rid of the pit by thrusting the knife into the pit. You see, it is dumb shit like this that gets people injured. I'm going to say 3 things about this. 1, in order to do this and be safe, you have to exercise a great deal of restraint. I'm sorry to tell you guys, but most people suck at that. 2, if you do this and miss, you'll end up hitting yourself. And 3, you have absolutely no good reason to use a knife instead of a teaspoon. Prove me wrong. I dare you. My suggestion is you use a teaspoon to scoop the pit out and use that same teaspoon to scoop out the avocado into your bowl. I'm also going to add lime juice, black pepper and some lime zest. And this is our secret ingredient, the lime juice. Remember this, the acidity of the lime juice will make people say that it is fresh, it will taste fresh. And that is exactly what we're going for. You will get loads of compliments just by adding this one ingredient. But hey, win is a win, right? Then grab a fork to mash the avocado. You can keep your hand in the same position and turn your bowl with your other hand. To make it easier, make sure you apply down streaks in this position, the curving area of the bowl. With every down streak, you will not only push the avocado back in the bowl, but also mash it. Mash it up nicely, and then it is time for the tomato. Get a small knife, place your thumb on the blade, and get rid of the part that was connected to the stem of the tomato plant. Time to talk about another tool, and it is this one. This is called a tomato knife. I'll keep this short. Same things I said about the avocado slicer apply here as well. This knife is more suited for tomatoes because of the edges. Now, cut your tomato in cubes and add them, including the juices, to the mashed avocado. Dice the shallot finely and add that to your avocado mash as well. Also, add some coriander, salt, black pepper, and olive oil. And there you have it. Our guacamole is done. So, you guys are still with me? Great. Next up, the Pico de Gallo. It's a simple one. Grab your tomato knife and cut the tomato in cubes. Place the tomato cubes in a bowl and don't forget the tomato juice. Then you want to add 2 teaspoons of pickled jalapeno peppers. We're going to add 1 shallot as well. Cut it, peel it, and chop it finely before adding it to the bowl. Add a drizzle of olive oil and some roughly cut coriander. We want them to be cut roughly because it looks better on top of the nachos. Let people recognize the leaves. It's all psychological, buddy. Give it all a good mix. Also, add some salt to your pico de gallo. Tomatoes taste so much better with salt. And you see this right here? We want those natural juices to be in our nacho dish. They will give a lot of flavor to our nachos. Step 5. Time to make a bean paste. We are going to start with some olive oil and 1 diced onion. Important to notice, we do not want to sweat the onions or get them translucent right away. We want to keep some of that crunchy texture, so we want to heat them up a bit. Basically, you don't want to fry them too long. Then add half a can of refried black beans. You will notice that this is pretty thick, so to thin it out, we are going to add some splashes of water and mix everything. Once it has the consistency of... I don't want to say it. It's too nasty. Let me put it this way. Once the mixture gets to a consistency where it is easy to stir, add a teaspoon of cumin and paprika powder, and voila, step 5 is done. Let's move on, shall we? Step 6, our cheese sauce. We're going to start with a roux, which is a combination of butter and flour. Start with 2 tablespoons of butter. Speed this up for a moment, but once the butter has melted, add 2 tablespoons of flour. We want to create a so-called white roux. A white roux is where you bake the flour in the butter for 2 to 3 minutes. If you bake it for 3 to 5 minutes, you get something that's called a blonde roux. If you bake it 8 to 10 minutes, you'll get a brown roux. We want to create a white roux, so I'm going to set the timer for 2 minutes. 2.5 or 3 is fine too, but keep that flour and butter mixture a bit moving. Once you hear the timer go off again, add your cup of milk. Now, there is a matter of temperature that we should discuss, but I'll keep it short. It is better to use room temperature milk than cold milk. It binds quicker to your roux that way. Now, This mixture will thicken the longer it's absorbing heat from the induction stove. And while that process is going on, add your grated cheddar cheese. Get real cheddar, by the way, not a fake one. Please do it! And as a finishing touch, I want to add 1 teaspoon of paprika powder and 1 teaspoon of turmeric. If you like your cheese sauce to be spicy, you can add some chili powder as well, or some cayenne pepper. Both will be fine. I'm not going to do that because our chipotle sauce is already spicy enough. Now keep stirring until the sauce is thick enough, then lower your heat just to keep your sauce warm. And that's it. Right, that's enough cooking, guys. It's time to plate. Alright, we've been doing a lot of cooking, but now it's time for plating. Now, start with your first layer. We're going to create 2 layers, and there are good reasons for that, but let's start with the tortilla chips, bean paste, and the cheese sauce. The cheese sauce, always put them on the tortilla chips, never on any other components. Make sure that it touches the tortilla chips as much as possible. The reason why we're layering is pretty simple, because if you have a pile of tortilla chips and your components are on top of it, most people go for the top part and they will leave a small pile of plain nachos. Rancid. So add your guacamole, add your pico de gallo, and see, this is where those bottles come in handy, don't they? Your sour cream drizzle, and also add some of that spicy chipotle sauce. Ooh, looks good, doesn't it? But hey, we're going to smack another layer on top of that and repeat everything, in that same order. You want to do it differently, that's fine. You want to start with the cheese sauce and then put your bean paste on top. Great. Guacamole, pico de gallo, your sour cream drizzle, and of course, don't forget that spicy chipotle sauce. And once you're finished, top it off with some fresh coriander. That always looks good. And that's it. That's how you make hardcore nachos. Yum, yum, give me some. Well done, guys. Alright, and that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video and I hope it was very informative. Before we move on to the sneak preview of what's going to happen in episode 6, and before you guys forget, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more hardcore food and tricks. You will be helping me immensely with that. See you guys next time.